boys and girls, and welcome to a new edition of the Concession Stand here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reed, and this is the review of the new Star Wars series, which premiered on Disney Plus this past Tuesday, June the 4th, The Acolyte. And this was highly anticipated in my household. I was looking forward to this. My kids were looking forward to this. Absolutely banned me from watching it without them. I had to wait to watch it with them, which was fine. I get it. And we all enjoyed it together. They dropped the first 2 episodes, and this will be the first 2 episodes review. Disney Plus and Lucasfilms will drop it week to week going forward, 1 episode a week, which is also cool. I'm kind of mixed on it in a way, but I'm cool with it because, you know, that brings us back to nostalgia when you had to wait a week to see what is next, what's in store for us on the next go around. This show is created by Leslie Headland, who I don't know much about her as far as her career, her filmography. I do know about Russian Doll, which was on Netflix, which is a show that she created, and that was pretty interesting. I never finished it. I think it had 2 seasons. I finished the first season, but I didn't get to the second season. But this makes me want to go back and watch the second season. But she is the creator, the showrunner of this program. The show stars Amanda Steinberg, Lee Hong Jae, Charlie Burnett, Daphne King, Rebecca Henderson, Jodie Turner-Smith, Carrie Ann Moss, and many more. The premise of The Acolyte is set at the end of the Star Wars franchise High Republic era, which is approximately 100 years before the events of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. And it sees a respected Jedi Master investigating a series of crimes that bring him in contact with a former Padawan and reveals sinister forces. One of the reasons I was super excited for this is the fact that it's set before we get to the Skywalker era. You know, before we get Luke, before we get Vader, before we get all of that good stuff. And all that is good. I think we have milked the Star Walker family dry. So it's time to tell some new stories. And for their benefit, Lucasfilms, Disney, they have tried, you know, with Andor and The Mandalorian for the most part, even though they snuck in Luke in a couple of those episodes. But for the most part, they try to stand on their own and tell new and different stories. But this one is a very different story from the normal Star Wars. This, oh, by the way, let me let y'all know, spoilers. I'm gonna talk spoilers for these 2 episodes. Not going forward because I hadn't seen other ones, but for the first 2 episodes, we would talk spoilers because there's one particular thing I want to talk about that there's no other way to talk about it than to spoil it. I mean, it happens in the first 5 minutes of episode 1, so I have to talk about it going forward. But like I was saying, this is a show that departs from your basic Star Wars storytelling, but in the midst of all that, it manages to feel like Star Wars. It feels Star Warsy, and I appreciated that. I enjoyed these first 2 episodes. I really did. I watched them twice. Before I jumped into the review, and I wanted to be sure that I was seeing what I was seeing and liking what I was liking before I put it out there in the ether. And so I made sure, and just like the first go around, the second go around was just as good. I really did enjoy it. Yeah, there are some holes that I'm hoping get filled in later episodes, of course, but for the most part, I think we're in for a ride. I think we're in for a unique show that Star Wars desperately needs. Star Wars has kind of been on their heels, you know what I'm saying? They haven't really been knocking it out the park. That's in TV or film. Ever since The Force Awakens, after that, it's kind of been a downward spiral, with Solo and The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker and even Rogue One, which I thought was excellent, wasn't well received. The TV shows, Andor, even though I thought that was a real good show as well, wasn't well received. Obi-Wan Kenobi, highly anticipated that too, kind of let me down. Mandalorian, for the first couple of seasons, I enjoyed. It's kind of on his heels, right now, even though that last season kind of redeemed it. But they're not firing on all cylinders. Let's just put it that way. But what was the other one that came out last year? Was it Ahsoka? Ahsoka came out. Ahsoka had elements. As Ahsoka, I saw a good show in there. It just didn't fully materialize. And at the end, I was like, okay, it was good to see Ahsoka in live action, but that was pretty much it. The story just failed me at the end. I thought it was going to be a little better than what it was. Now, as far as the Acolyte, I know nothing of the High Republic. I didn't read the books. I didn't read the comics that showcased the High Republic era in Star Wars. This is outside of my wheelhouse here. I don't so me watching this is something new, it's something exciting. So I received it a little better than probably the majority of Star Wars fans did. Because Star Wars fans, ooh boy, if you don't get it right, they're hot. They are hot as fish grease. But that's neither here nor there. Let's jump into the review of these two episodes, starting with episode 1, Lost and Found. It was directed by Leslie Headland, and this, like I said, spoilers, this caught me off guard. The first 5 minutes let me know that we're not in for your typical Star Wars show. This show was heavily marketed with Carrie-Anne Moss as a Jedi, and that just brought me joy when I saw that in the trailer, because I didn't know she was in this show. And in case you don't know who Carrie-Anne Moss is, that's Trinity from The Matrix. So to see her as a Jedi in this film, in this show rather, oh my God, I can't wait. And we got to see her be a Jedi, and I'm talking the first 5 minutes, and it was amazing. She went toe to toe with Amanda Steinberg's character, and man, you want to talk about a fight? This is one of the best Jedi fights I've seen. One of. I'm not saying it's the best, but it's one of. It was very exciting, and this was without a lightsaber. The lightsaber came in at the very end, and it was only for a moment, and they went at it. Beautifully choreographed. I got shades of The Matrix when to see Carrie-Anne Moss do these moves and stuff like that, only for her to be murdered in the first 5 minutes. And I'm like, wait, what? Wait, I thought she was going to be like one of the stars of this show. You know what I'm saying? And it just blew my mind. It took me a minute to get it together, because I was like, wait, maybe she lived. Maybe she survived it, even though the knife went straight in her heart. Maybe she survived it. But no, she took it. She took that knife, and I was like, oh my God, we're in for a treat here. And so we get introduced to Amanda Steinberg's character of Ausha, who is a former Jedi, and she wakes up in this ship, and we're like, okay, well, she just murdered a Jedi. you know, and she's like an assassin, I guess. You know, so I'm kind of thrown off. I'm like, okay, so she living this double life or whatever. But little did I know she did. We'll find out in a few. And I'm like, man, this is gonna be cool. This is gonna be like a Law and Order procedural. It's set in Star Wars, I guess. They try to find the killer. And as the episode goes on, and she gets arrested by the Jedi, and she's, you know, proclaiming her innocence and whatnot, and we're like, okay, maybe she was brainwashed or something. You know, maybe she was taken over by a Sith or something to that nature. Now, mind you, in this era of Star Wars, now I do know this much: there are no Siths. There are no dark, dark side of the Force, at least revealed yet, to my knowledge. So this is and I could be wrong on this because I know they're gonna come after me. I could be wrong, but I'm thinking that there aren't any in this era. And so we find out that she was a former Jedi, and she left the Order, and you know, it's like a revenge tour, I guess. So we starting to piece it together. Like she she got kicked out of the Jedi Order, and you know she want vengeance against the Jedi. That's why she going around killing them. And we come to find out that no, she left on her own accord. Okay, cool. And now she manages to not escape, but she gets caught up in this escape attempt, and and which was pretty cool. But the Jedi hunt her down, and her master, or her former master, I should say, is one of the ones that's hunting her down, who is played by Lee Hung Jae, who, if you haven't watched Squid Game, first and foremost, welcome to Planet Earth. Everybody has seen Squid Game. It's good to see him in a English speaking role. I didn't know that was him. My daughter had to tell me that was him, and I was like, really? You know, because I hadn't seen him in nothing else other than Squid Game. But that was him, and man, he was killing it. I love him in this role. Love him in this role. Well, since I'm giving accolades, I love Amanda Stanford. I don't know why I can't get her name. I love her for reasons, and I'm gonna tell you why when we get further into this episode, into the next episode. I love her performance here, but he goes and gets her. He explains to his other Padawan, who is played by Daphne King, who we may know as X-23 or Laura from Logan. Yes, that's her. I had to now they hit me with that's old boy from Squid Game. I doubled down and hit him with, well, that's X-23, and they were like, wait, what? So they had to look it up like I was lying, and they come to find out, yes, it is, and they were all shocked by that. But yes, that's her. Um, he tells her the story, the backstory of Ausha, and that she was a twin. She actually has a twin sister, but the twin sister, quote unquote, died on their home planet after she started a fire and killed her family and all this here, including herself, allegedly. And as the story goes along, as the episode goes along, we come to find out that indeed, who is named May is still alive. And she's the one committing these crimes. And it's so cool the way they did this. I love the fact that we didn't have to wait to episode 7 or episode 8 or the season finale to find out that, oh, it was a twin all along. No, we know all from jump that it was a twin. It's so cool. We take away all of the mystery of that, and I really enjoyed that, because instead of finding new inventive ways to try to hide the fact that it's not actually Ausha doing it and all this other stuff, they're focusing on the story elements and everything going forward, and the distrust that the other Jedi have towards her. Even though they've seen it with their eyes, they still can't, quote unquote, believe the fact that she doesn't know anything about it. You know, that her twin sister was still alive and all this here. They still feel that that Osha is implicated in these crimes. So there's that element still there. So as episode 1 ends, we are introduced to May as she's on this mysterious planet or whatever she is. Well, it isn't mysterious. They said it what it was, but I can't remember what planet it was. But we meet her master from a distance. We never see her master, but he challenges May to kill a Jedi without a weapon. And that's how the episode goes off. And I'm like, man, how much of a beast you have to be to kill a Jedi without a weapon? That is impossible. You know, if you think about a Jedi using the Force and everything, and have a lightsaber, by the way, how can you pull that off? Well, that was the challenge laid down by May's master at the end of this episode. So we moved to episode 2, entitled Revenge Justice, also directed by Leslie Headland, and May attempts to kill another Jedi master who is in this temple on this planet and is protected by this force meditation, like a literal force field around him, so she can't get to him. He's vowed, you know, this code of silence or whatever you want to call it. It's like a monctuary or whatever it's called. But anywho's, she can't get to him. She got into the place, but she can't break the little force field. And so she gets with a guy who can make a poison, and she found going to try this poison on the Jedi monk, if you will, and finally she talks to him and gets him to break, and he begins to talk. And as he talks to her and speaks to her, he apologizes to her as to implicate that the Jedi had something to do with the death of her family. Because she is proclaiming, without saying it out loud, she is proclaiming that it was the Jedi who set the fire and killed the family. And to her knowledge, her sister is dead. She believes Ausha is dead. And so she is out for revenge against the Jedi. And this is very interesting because Saul is proclaiming that it was actually May who set the fire. Now, at this point, where we are in this series, we fully trust Saul. We fully trust him because he has that, you know, the way he carries himself, the way he speaks, the emotion he has towards Ausha, which could be guilt. We'll find out, I guess, as this season goes along. But yeah, I mean, he's very trustworthy. And he even tells Ausha that at one point, you know, have faith in the Force, have faith in me. You know, and so will there be a betrayal there? Will there be a turn there, a twist there? I don't know. We shall see moving forward. But the Jedi, Turbin, I think his name was, he willingly drinks the poison as to because the ultimatum was given: either take the poison or go confess your crimes to the Jedi Order. And he chose to take the poison. And so there's some truth to what May is saying, that the Jedi had something to do with this destruction, with this quasi-genocide, I guess. I don't know. Once again, we'll dive in deeper as the season goes along. But, man, that is very, very interesting. As we get closer to the end of this episode, we finally get the reveal. We finally get to see Ausha and May look at each other. When they were hunting down May, chasing after her, after a showdown between Saul and May, she manages to get away from Saul, and she runs and, you know, commandeers this vehicle, and Ausha is there with her blaster or stun gun pointed at her, and they both were just looking at each other, and May was in complete disbelief, like, you're still alive. And the same thing with Ausha, she was like, you're alive. And it was just a moment where, like, what do we do now? You know, what do we do now? And she manages to get away, even though Osha just let her get away. Call it what it is. She let her get away. And as the episode ends, we get a scene at the very end where we get another Jedi that is on the radar of May, and it is none other than Wookiee, a Wookiee Jedi, and this is going to be so cool. I cannot wait. I hope this goes straight into next episode next week, where we get to see this Wookiee Jedi. So I cannot wait for this. But this was an awesome 2-episode premiere. As I said, Amanda Stanberg killed it in this role because she's playing double roles. She's playing dual roles here, twins, and both are different. And she's playing them differently, with the anger of May, with the kind of naiveness of Osha, yet strong at the same time. They both strong-willed, but there are subtle differences, the way they kind of walk and carry themselves and everything. She plays it great. I love how she does it. Is it perfect? No, but she's trying something different and new, and I can run with it. Lee Hung Jae is the star of this show. He is the star. Big fan. Big fan. I was a fan of his in Squid Game. A huge fan of him here. I mean, he is carrying this show. Everybody is doing a pretty good job. Daphne Keene is doing an awesome job in the little role that she has. But you can tell that this is setting up for something bigger with her. And I can't wait to see how this plays out. Overall, I enjoy the acting. The action sequences are shot very well choreographed with the kind of the force foo that they do. The special effects, of course, is top notch. Looks better than some movies I've seen, and they're clearly not cheapening the experience here. They are not holding back the checkbook with this show. I look, I'm enjoying it, but I am tempering my expectations. I'm not jumping out the window. Oh man, this is the best Star Wars show ever. I'm not gonna go out there with that. But I'm just saying, because I've been burnt before. I've been burnt before many times with these shows. The first couple of episodes, they knock it out the park, and then it just go pew, straight down. So I'm not gonna jump out there, but I will say, so far, these first 2 episodes of The Acolyte is excellent. I am excited moving forward with this show. Like I said, to start off this review, Star Wars need this, man. Just like Marvel needed X-Men 97 to inject some life into that brand. This is the type of show that can inject life into the Star Wars brand. I hope that they nail it in the next 6 episodes, because we have 6 episodes left. And look, I know 1 or 2 of them probably gonna be slow, probably gonna be a little off, not gonna be exciting, probably gonna be more talking than it is action. And see, the action is just the cherry on top of the sundae when it comes to a show like this. I'm not looking for action. I really wasn't. I never was looking for the action here. But the action that we got was amazing. And so that just added to the joy of it. But this is more of a story-driven, character-driven show. And so if you're looking for the pew and the zoom, keep that. Keep that. It's going to get there eventually. It's just not there yet. But so far, this is a really good show in the Star Wars lore. A new story that within itself can spawn off different stories outside of the Skywalker saga. So that's a good thing. And I'm here for it. The first 2 episodes of The Acolyte, which is on Disney Plus, brought to us by the good folks over there at Lucasfilms, gets an A-. I think it's really good. these first two episodes really, really good. It's well written, well paced, and there's really not too many flaws in the first two episodes. Um, I'm super excited moving forward. I would love to know, what did you think of the first two episodes of The Acolyte? Do you think this is worthy of the Star Wars name, or did you just not like it, or you you want to, or are you a fan of the Skywalker saga so much that you want to see more Luke, Leia, Han, Darth Vader, and Chewie, and all this here? You want to revisit that? Well, hey, the same Disney Plus has all of those all of those movies on their streaming service. So if you want to go back to that, it's there for you to watch. But this is new and exciting, so check it out. I would love to know your feelings, though. Email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also search for the show on all social media platforms. Just search for the KB Radio Network. Subscribe to the KB Radio Network channel on YouTube and like this video if you don't mind. Also, don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, thank you for joining me for our look into the first 2 episodes of Star Wars The Acolyte. Can't wait to speak to you on the next go around. I'm probably not going to do week to week going forward. I'll probably wait till July 17th. That's when it ends. Episode 8 ends on the 16th of July. I'll probably do a whole season review like I did for X-Men. I don't know if my body will let me do week to week. But we'll see if there's an episode that is so fire, because I still kick myself in the butt for X-Men 97 that I didn't do a show right after episode 4 of X-Men 97. I wish I would have did it, but you live, you learn. But if there is an episode like that here, yeah, I will do it immediately after. But the plan is we'll do a entire season recap after it all wraps up. I want you all to know that I love you. Continue to love everyone. And until we speak again, may the force be with you and you all be blessed.